Welcome back to the Steady Show. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Today we're going to look at the case between Audley Shaw and Markham Bunting, otherwise DB&G, before they sold that company and became proven. I am going to look at the case that is on the Integrity Commission website. So before Integrity Commission, there was the OCG. So what they've done is incorporate it. Very interesting that Mark and Bunting, they were the subject of investigation by the OCG, and eventually Mark came up with the Integrity Commission in which he incorporated the OCG. So as I've said before, Integrity Commission is the OCG on steroids. Kind of makes you wonder, how come somebody who was once under investigation by the OCG moved to the place where they now write the law that basically take over the job of the OCG? Talk about this PNP party, the rabbit hole has absolutely no end.
But let's see a movie. Them a man are dealing with Jamaica like them a movie star, you know. Mark Golding and Peter Bunting. Look at what we have in front of us today. Oh my goodness, steady family. Office of the Contractor General. Special report of investigation conducted into the alleged sweetheart deals involving the government of Jamaica and Daring Bunting and Golding. In other words, Marky G and him brethren, Peter Bunting. Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, formerly Ministry of Finance and Planning. First of all, this thing is written like a research paper. 110 pages of document. Holy percentage involved in a disagreement. We're gonna read the charges and then we are gonna read the recommendation. As a Jamaican with name, we want to hear what happened, what they do, and what they do to them. And that's what I know. Because we not read no long page document. That's not Jamaica, we don't love read nothing long. So let's go to the charges.
By the Honorable Audley Shaw, detailed in Answer 1. To compound this matter, receivables from the sale of National Commercial Bank and Jocelyn Jamaica Redevelopment Foundation instruments were sold under further discount. They were sold under further discounts to an entity which was close to the government under very questionable circumstances. In addition, other inexplicable but equally reprehensible acts included the sale of assets to other government entities while using financial intermediaries unnecessarily and at great cost to the taxpayers. On March 26, 2004, receivables due from AIC for some 2.5 billion Jamaican dollars was sold by the Ministry of Finance to Daring Bunting and Golding Limited at a 6% discount, with full recourse to the government and interest assignable at the Treasury bill rate. A fee of 1% for a very low-risk transaction was charged by DB&G. The total discount plus transaction fee, some would say income earned on this initial phase, was $175 million.
Hey.
DB&G in turn sold 34%, or $852 million, to the National Housing Trust and the National Insurance Bond. The discount that was given there at 3%. That is, NHT and NI bought the receivables from DB&G for 97% of the face value. In respect of the NHT, the agreement for sale was signed with the Ministry of Finance on the 26th day of March 2004. The DB&G agreement with the National Housing Trust was approved on March 15, 2004.
Look at the close dates. All right, so quite a number of things were said right there, but some things we want to pay attention to, and it comes into the case, is that a lot of these transactions, so we see Jocelyn up there, so our Jamaica Redevelopment Foundation. Jamaica Redevelopment Foundation, it was where the receivables them for DB&G went. In other words, the bad debts, the charged off properties, and all of those things are them by it. The Jamaica Redevelopment Foundation. So if you go and you look at the Jamaica Redevelopment Foundation, you will see that they have the FINSAC properties. Very important for you to note. Now, one of the big things I want us to pay attention to is that look at the closeness of the dates in which the transactions were done. The government, which is under the guidance of Omar Davies, the government turned over the whole country based on the manufactured interest rates. Call the people them bad debtors, wouldn't give back the people them property, sell the property to people overseas and anybody that they like, them big friend them or whatever. Hence, so you need to ask yourself, if Golden and Bunting so young and they started their company in 1993 when the big crisis was going on, where did they get the money? That's the question I want people to ask because I needed to understand it myself. Them get the receivables, them or the bad debts, they get them to buy at a discounted rate. In a case where you see where NHT come in, is that they will go ahead and resell the thing them to NHT because you know say NHT is a very cash rich place. And not only were they getting the first look on the deals, but they were acting as intermediaries, which simply means to say they were conducting business for the government that they had no business doing. The government could have do that themselves and them a charge fee. For instance, on one transaction, a fee of 1% for a very low risk transaction, which means to say they never need Db&G, which is an intermediary. They never need them, but the government use it so they can get them sweetheart deals. Sweetheart deals mean to say it's a deal where you can't pass up. The deal is so sweet that you had to get it. So what them do is them use them government links to get whatever wanted. Wanna get it now? See? So look at the part here. A fee of 1% for a low risk transaction charged by Db&G. The total discount plus transaction fee. Some would say income earned on this initial phase was 175 million. Easy money. Db&G in turn sold 34% or 852 million in the early 2000s to the National Housing Trust and the National Insurance Fund. That's how they split up Jamaica. The discount that was given there at 3%. So they were collecting money out of everything and out of every possible means. Charges in respect of the NHT, the agreement for sale was signed by the Ministry of Finance on the 26th day of March 2004. Db&G agreement with National Housing Trust was approved March 15, 2004. So it's like they made the deals, but they made the deals without things being signed. So they looked at those things earlier on. But the closeness of the transaction, that's where the government paper came in. Receivables or bad debts from Jamaica Redevelopment, the place where own FINSAC properties them. Seen? 29.6 million, talk about illicit enrichment, was sold to Db&G at a discount rate of 2.4% on an agency fee of 1% charge. Again, full recourse to the government. Again, government paper with government help. So them never did take out no money out of them pocket. So when you hear them talk about, they wanted to figure out where Andrew get his money from to do certain transactions. One of the questions we need to ask is, how is it that in 1993, when Jamaica was going through a financial meltdown, how did they end up starting the first private investment firm and became the most successful private investment firm, not just in Jamaica, but in the Caribbean? Or you can read as we go along, you know, because there are things we never catch that I will miss. Look at the discounts, agency fees, they are getting all those monies, sweetheart deals, split up the whole of Jamaica. Receivables due for payment by the JRF in July of the same year, only 3 months later, resulting in further deprivation of government resources calculated in Jamaican dollars, which is 70 million that the taxpayers were deprived. So members of them are use government paper, state resources to finance these private deals that the taxpayer them a lose out pan, and none of them the money they now go in a things such as you see where Andrew do right now, in a infrastructure, in a healthcare, in a scholarships, in a housing, in a all of these things. Mark Golding and Peter Bunting were the guys benefiting from these, all of them taxpayer dollars, yeah, them revenue, yeah, back in a way back in the early 2000s or whatever. So Jamaica could have developed because look at what this kind of money would have valued. No, there was no money. So when you see them try to get into the government, this is what they're trying to do again. Because the company that they had to close down due to the investigations, which is the same Db&G, by Mark Golding's own words, then start proving, but proving is not doing so well because guess what? The government paper is not available anymore. And these manufactured interest rates where they chose to go and borrow money from all these other big private institutions at exorbitant interest rates. That's why our debt problem became so huge. And they did not have to do it. It was them finding a way to shake down the country. And that's why them tax people, them tax everything. Everything. Because they let the taxpayers pay for the bad decisions that they make. But the bad decision them what them did not make. It's a way of enriching the rich people them in Jamaica while stealing the wealth of poor taxpayers, which also include the 44,000 businesses that they end up get destroyed in the early 90s. Receivables due for payment in the JRF July same year, only 3 months later, resulting in a further deprivation of government resources. We talk about that. And we're deprived that when because the Minister of Finance sold it at a discount. The minister sold it at a discount 3 months before the instrument was due to be paid. The Ministry of Finance technocrats communicated their concern as to pricing being too generous. Yeah, man, so whoever was there was looking at the generous prices in which they were obtaining. So they were obtaining the best properties and the best financial instruments at a low cost, and they were selling them. So now you can understand why when Arnie Shaw forward upon them, and in this case, you would have seen where when they asked them about the government contracts they receive, the same government contracts where you hear them talk about. In a Peter Bunting statement, what them do is them sell the company in about 2007 to Scotia DB&G. The reason that is so is because that is their way of not accounting for those transactions because they sell out that the kind of business. So again, it's really a form of money laundering. Just like how you see them have money in a Cayman Island, them have money in a Bermuda, British Virgin Island. We saw the other day with the 20 million US or 3 billion that Mark Golding went ahead and him donated, or as him what I say, supply to the Bahamian government. So if you notice, just as we're talking, I will show them in most of the situations, what them do is them transfer and bring the money, go the money laundering country them. So this is just like when I watch the movie, you know, and a man make a big heist and then decide to go on non-extradition country. That is kind of the thing that he was doing right here. So, and we're going to also include in this video some strategies where Mark Golding used and some ways in which he did not account for his money. Them people are dangerous because listen, they know how the government works because they have been the biggest beneficiaries of government corruption, and they were recommended for disciplinary action. So just let's make that clear that they did not escape these charges. So when they talk about investment by Andrew Holness, This is what them things that Andrew Holness that do. Corruption through government contracts. Because government contracts is the way PNP destroy Jamaica. Them set up everybody as a contractor, such as in the Cuban light bulb situation, such as in situations in which them talk about this one a contractor, every Don is a contractor, everybody contractor. Because contracts, if a government write the contracts, it's their way of legally taking money away. But when you check it out, the money that they're taking out of taxpayers' money or out of the country's purse, you understand me? All of them kind of money them are pay them out for work not being done. So when you see PNP are being bad out here and I spread propaganda and I do all kind of things, just know say are the money they want. So this time Jamaica have to go fight because you have to remember that enough people lose them house and enough people lose them life through these corrupt activities that was happening with the government under the People's National Party at the time. See? The obvious questions to be asked is, since the government had assets to itself, why did it need an intermediary costing multiple millions of dollars? That is it. They never need no brokerage firm. Db&G is a brokerage firm. Proven Wealth is a wealth management firm. So it simply means that if the IC was doing any kind of decent investigation, they would not be looking at Andrew Holness. But we know that Greg Christie was on this case, PNP man, the same person we're in the Integrity Commission right now. So if we don't really pre the thing in the people, this is upon corruption that really happened with the people them. So make her read some more charges, but the context, because this can be very boring. Me and a lawyer court case this.
Receivables due from the Jamaica Redevelopment Foundation with a face value of $29.6 million was sold to the DB&G at a discount rate of 2.4%, plus an agency fee of 1%. Again, at full recourse to the government. These receivables were due for payment by the JRF in July of the same year. Only 3 months later, resulting in a further deprivation of government resources when calculated in Jamaican dollars of $70 million that the taxpayers were deprived that went because the minister sold it at a discount 3 months before the instrument was due to be paid. The Ministry of Finance technocrats communicated their concern as to pricing being too generous, the 1% fee as being excessive, saying that what is the norm is 1/4% of 1%, and not 1%, and the lack of competitive bids. The obvious question to be asked is, since the government had assets to itself, why did it need an intermediary, costing multi-millions of dollars? Following upon the allegations, which were made by Minister Audley Shaw, several newspaper articles were published in the local print media which alluded to the propriety or impropriety of the alleged transactions which had been entered into between the then MOFP and Db&G. It must also be noted that on 2008 May 13, Mr. Peter Bunting issued a media release regarding the allegations which had been levied against him, in Parliament, by Minister Audley Shaw, in regard to the two transactions which were consummated in 2004 March and 2005 March, respectively. 4. The sale of the AIC receivables was subject to the review of senior personnel within the then MOFP and also the Attorney General's chambers. 5. The AIC receivables were in fact sold at a discounted rate to Db&G and included the payment of an arrangement fee by the then MOFP. According to the MOF, this was in part due to the fact that the then MOFP did not have a strong bargaining position. In point of fact, the then acting financial secretary, MS. Darlene Morrison, in her sworn response to the OCG's requisition, indicated that Db&G charged an initial arrangement fee of 1.25% of the face value, but a final negotiated fee of 1% was agreed on. The fees charged were initially regarded as being excessive, but the time frame within which the transaction was required to be completed meant that the government did not have a strong negotiating position. OCG emphasis. Conclusion. 3. Further. The receivables were. He has seen evidence. According to the documentary evidence, which was adduced to the OCG, was de facto sold at a discounted rate to Db&G and included the payment of an arrangement fee by the then MOFP. According to the move, this was in part due to the fact that the then MOFP did not have a strong bargaining position. In point of fact, the then acting financial secretary, MS. Darlene Morrison, in her sworn response to the OCG's requisition, indicated that Db&G charged an initial arrangement fee of 1.25% of the face value, but a final negotiated fee of 1% was agreed on. The fees charged were initially regarded as being excessive, but the time frame within which the transaction was required to be completed meant that the government did not have a strong negotiating position. OCG emphasis.
All right, so I've kind of lost track of some things here, but I want to point out something in the document. Just looking at charges. Seeing, so which page is this right now? This is slide 8. Seeing? According to media report, which was published on the Radio Jamaica website on 2008, May 15, and which was entitled No FINSAC/DBG Deal Took Place, Mr. Peter Bunting was quoted as saying, "I acknowledge that discussions for the sale of receivables to JRF did occur, but that the transaction did not take place. The documentation presented by Mr. Shaw presents a short-term bridging facility which was facilitated given that the transaction didn't occur." So financing go on, but the transaction never go on. And the short-term bridging facility is the same government paper that we are talking about. Now, if that is not government corruption, folks, somebody need to tell me what it is. So I'm just going through enough of these things to show you some of the things they were doing even before we go to the conclusion. So I think that's important. Can we have to break up this article right here? So watch you now. It must be noted that despite the foregoing assertions of Mr. Bunting, it was reported in an article which was published in the Jamaica Gleaner on May 22, 2008, that during a sitting of the House of Representatives in the Parliament, Mr. Bunting retracted statements he made last week accusing Finance and the Public Service Minister Audley Shaw of misleading the House with his claims about so-called sweetheart deals. So if Bunting retracted statements about the sweetheart deals, it simply tell you that alone tell us say he admitted to the fact that they were sweetheart deals. And for the people who are repeat this thing, you know, for the people who are read through this thing, it will be good, because it would be good if we have some people read through this. I will come back. I will have some discussions in a live, but we have to put information out there first that show that these people really did benefit from sweetheart deals. We need to get Mark name into the conversation soon, and I will. So you can just look at it as we go along. MOFP was Minister of Finance and Planning. That's what they were called back in the day. But just look here so we see what we see. The findings, last paragraph right here, so. The findings of the OCG investigation into the circumstances surrounding the alleged sweetheart deals involving the government of Jamaica and DB&G are premised primarily upon an analysis of the sworn statements and the documents which were provided by the respondents. Really now. So we don't have no own guidelines we want to use for judge things. You see, them have them inside, I know. So we are talking about a case that is properly doctored, you know, to get them off of the case, which happened, you know. And then them come and accuse Andrew Holness, you know. So Mark Golden, you are such a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, you're a liar and a manipulator and a deceiver. You understand me? I said to you, you're corrupt to the core. You and Peter Bunting, corrupt to the core. No moral authority to talk about corruption as it relates to Dr. Andrew Holness. None whatsoever. So, terms of reference, so you can look on that. Identify procurement process. Everybody knows that they don't follow no process because that is just what PNP does. Determine whether there are breaches of government's procure process. Yes, it did, because as we always show that slide, there were evidence of sweetheart deals.
Because although I came into the party through Dr. Omar Davis, because I knew him in the financial sector, where I had been like one of the leading corporate lawyers in Jamaica and very involved in financial engineering. And so when he was Minister of Finance, a lot of the things that required industry input, I was one of the representatives of the industry that he would deal with. I got to know him through that. And that's how I got into the PNP really, through my relationship with him.
I noticed Peter Bunting talk publicly and most of it, because everybody knows that Mark is not that smart when they back him into a corner. So yeah, terms of reference, but they broke your terms of reference and what happened. Then get away with it. Methodology. So you know this, they write, it's a real research paper they write, because most people don't even go read no research. You think the public is going to read a research paper? Now it's interesting to note, you don't hear Dan Jackson Miller, Cliff Hughes, you don't hear any of those, you don't hear Adria, you don't hear anybody in the media coming out to talk about these things, but they are chastising Andrew, and this is public information. Yeah, man, me I go scroll through it so the people who love read can do it. Let's go. I put it on the screen so I can read it. So these are them going through their processes. So when I read it, anything on the catch, when we come on the live, when we can look on it. Right now we are exposed because we don't want to take up too much time. So again, sweetheart deals by Investopedia describe a sweetheart deal as a merger, a sale or agreement in which one party in the deal represents the other party with very attractive terms and conditions. The terms are usually so lucrative that it is difficult to justify turning down the offer. In general, a sweetheart deal is a transaction that simply can't be passed up. They got sweetheart deals. So when I hear Mark talk about a big investment banker, him don't know him a foolish system attack. Why don't I even put Wikipedia in this thing? I'm sure some of the people don't do serious work. Yeah, man, just look on them, man. $110 paper. Who gonna read that? Who gonna read 110? So we have scroll through it. So when I add the video, on can pause on the video and look on it. We have browse through it. Yeah, we have find smart ways to deal with it. Watch you know. Mr. Peter Bunting, watch you know. In a statement dated May 13, 2008, you indicated that Db&G did not communicate with the government about potential benefits of a transaction arising from the government's ongoing dealings with the Jamaica redevelopment. So them sell the thing them to redevelopment and still a deal with them, Corruption at its core. This is how PNP bankrupt the country. You know see what I say? So them say, here you know. However, those discussions did not lead to any form of transaction. Kindly give details of the following. Name of entity and or individual. Them ask them a question. Please provide, where possible, documentary evidence of all communication between Db&G, the government of Jamaica, and any third party entity or individual regarding the probable transaction. Please provide, where possible, documentary evidence in support of the assertion that those transactions did not lead to any form. Hear this, I want to know. Mr. Peter Bunting, in his sworn response to the OCG requisitions, which was dated June 25th, 2008. Hear this now, though? My recollection is that Db&G was approached by Mr. Rod Haven, a Jamaican businessman who reported that he was acting on behalf of an Israeli entity called the Red Sea Group. He advised Db&G that the Red Sea Group had been selected to purchase outright FINSAC's limited residual stake in the collections realized by Jamaica River. So this is them selling out the Jamaican people, them stuff, to people as far as Israel. What a wicked set of people, them. So they did not want to negotiate with the people who lost these properties because of their manufactured interest rates. But they were finding people, they were doing everything to stuff away that money. This report needs to come out, and the Jamaican people need people to be held accountable, because up to this day, those people still pay for all of them loan there from what the government of Jamaica put on them. Jeez, you whiz. Him have no files or documents relating to proposed transactions. You know, see how them hide the money there. You know, see how most likely they hide the money them, just like how they push out money in the Bahamas and everywhere. Them people are the normal people. They are the real corruption in a Jamaica. Here, no. By definition, it is difficult to provide evidence of something that did not take place. However, you may confirm with FINSAC that they have not sold their residual stake in the JRF's collections, and FINSAC still owns and receives its shares of collections. We want to know what is a government share, because them probably still get money out of them still JRF deals there. I acknowledge in a subsequent statement to the Parliament that Db&G had in fact entered into a different financing transaction with Ministry of Finance after the transaction referred to the above did not occur. So you naturally have to go with transaction by transaction. You understand me? Yeah, man. My goodness. So yeah, they were referred to for disciplinary action for the people who don't have any patience. They were referred for disciplinary action. What kind of action they took, we don't know. So these are their processes. These are their processes. Read those things, because me same one go after watch but this a video here to find out the things that are on screen. You see me? That's why I have the music and everything. So consider this the rough work, bright people, if you don't understand. When you don't have the time, you don't do this, I make we tear up the document here, right from the steady show. In a sort of live thing. You know, see the strategy? And that's what I do. Oh gosh. Me can't even process enough of them something here. No. Me just get them on the recording. 110 slides. So you can pause and you can look on it. And look on it over time. Let us look through it. Yeah, man. "40 pages of 110. So this video here, so is the rough work. Consider this video the rough work. I'm gonna link up some people, ask them to watch this video and see if we can get some people to come in office and we speak to it, and we can break it down so we can talk to them about them deeds. Yeah, man, this is like a master research paper, believe me. Make sure so we go through it Steady. Me done do research in a college already. Me done do them thing in a college. Me now go through this again, you know. Me now go through this again. We don't do them thing in a college, master. We have to find a way to break it up. Me say a Lambert Brown name a while ago. Let's look at it. All the people that like to read, man. See ya? We record it out here, so. Yeah, man. See letter, yeah? Everything there. Everything there. Everything there. And what we can do, you know, we can come back and review the video, you know. Yeah, man. All right, see here? This is part here now, you know, show an analysis of agreement between Government of Jamaica and Db&G over the years. All right. We're going to analyze this one here too. So notice what they look for, you know. Number of transactions, including Db&G. All right. They look from 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006. Yeah, man, they look on them. So we go look on that and analyze them through the video. Now look at this, you know. The OCG, in its written requisition to Mr. Peter Bunting, which was dated 2008-12, asked the following question. In your statement of May 13, 2008, allegation of sweetheart deals by Audley Shaw, Finance Minister, available on pnpjamaica.org, you asserted that Db&G conceptualized a potential transaction whereby the government could sell those future payments from AIC to yield their present value, applying current interest rates to determine the price of the sale of those cash flows. The statement of the instant date further states that the question of putting the AIC receivables transaction out to tender did not arise. First of all, it would have been quite unethical for the government to take Db&G's idea and give other finance houses the benefit of the opportunity to bid on it. Because at the end of the day, at them would end up benefiting. They were involved in every kind of corruption with the government. Do not let these guys fool, you know. At this them I try to do again. Yes, man. All kind of requisition, and they just knew. And you can tell some Mark did in addition, because Mark is a serial money hider, you know. You understand me? Wow. Involving NHT. Oh, ho. Please, folks, make sure to check this one out because we have to discuss this come next week. And we're going to do it in different parts, so don't worry. We're just record the information here, so. All right, so we're gonna go towards the conclusion. I think we did read. I think we had the conclusions on this thing too, you know. We're going to go towards a conclusion. We'll get back to the others. We'll discuss details, but we're going to need a conclusion. But listen, we discovered their evidence. We can come back and when we look through it, we will figure out the mark named it. We'll just scroll through it because we don't want this thing to take up whole heap of time. We're coming back to discuss these things by watching this video. Right. So you have referrals here, so. So based on what go on, them come now with the all kind of recommendations. So what am I do? What am I do? Make the man them violate the thing and I recommend what they do better next time. Them should have there. Listen, man. All right, listen. The OCG is concerned that the unsolicited proposal mechanism is a corruption-enabling device which can be utilized by unscrupulous public officials, which was done to direct lucrative multi-million-dollar state contracts to connected undeserving or desired contractors. This can be easily accomplished by influential but corrupt public officials who are willing to clandestinely, they can use big word, conspire, who are willing to conspire with a contractor to have the contractor approach the state with what appears to be a unique contracting proposal. We just saw where that was done. It is the OCG's considered contention that all such proposals must be tested. We know the guidelines. Finally, OCG is obliged to strongly recommend that all public bodies, and you can read the recite. Make we go to the conclusion. Oh, this are the 110. I need to see something else that talk about the highly improper. I need to find that. So this was the finding. So I guess there is another part because, as we say, we did see in the paper where the OCG found evidence of sweetheart deals, which was not supposed to take place. So I will put this right here so we can go through all of this with a fine tune comb all we want, but they did find things which are highly improper. So I'm going to try to see it right here. So because I probably skip it already or something like that. So this is 52 minutes and I'm not going to allow this video to approach 1 hour because anything with 1 hour, it gives people headache. But that's what I said to you. But this is the case. This is the rough draft. Please go ahead and like this video. If you don't want to start commenting based on what you want to see, that is good because when we go to the lives and the future videos, we will know exactly how to approach the thing. So so steady family and everybody viewing this video, there is absolutely no doubt that these guys did very corrupt things to acquire the wealth they have. So with everything that was done, we know that they were recommended for disciplinary action, as I say. But keep in mind that on the Steady Show, we continue to work to inform the Jamaican people. The least you can do is to support the show, like, share, and subscribe.